guys, and welcome back to the Indie Spotlight here on the Fronsman Productions YouTube channel. If you're new to this series, this is where I take a look at independent movies to help shine a spotlight on some amazing indie talent making films. Today we're going to be talking about the short horror film Friends Forever. Friends Forever was written by Jared Acker, Paige Hoover, and Thomas Angeletti, and was also directed by Thomas Angeletti. The film follows some college friends who decide to throw a party of a lifetime in an abandoned house with a dark history. The movie opens up by showing us that dark history as we watch a mother lose her mind by killing her family before turning the blade on herself. I think the cast who played the family did a wonderful job, especially Julie Carney as the mother and Timothy J. Cox as the father. From there, the movie jumps forward in time to the 1980s, where we see four young college friends decide to show up at this abandoned house to throw the party of a lifetime. Although one of the young women is very sketched out by the very obviously creepy, isolated house, her other friend insists that this is the perfect place to throw a party, as there's no neighbors and no one will call the cops. So reluctantly, she eventually agrees, and all the friends invite their buddies over to throw an intense party, even knowing about the murder-suicide that took place 30 years prior. I can't really speak much more on the plot going from here without going into spoiler territory, so I'll leave it alone. But you could probably guess that a lot of people are going to die in the course of this film. I do want to talk about, though, that I think that when you watch it, I think Friends Forever does a great job of subverting expectations. I think that the movie plays really well on various tropes from psychological horror as well as paranormal horror. And I even get some vibes coming from The Shining, in a sense, where the house is almost, this creepy entity that corrupts people, similarly to the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. As always, in the Indie Spotlights, I really want to discuss some of the filmmaking aspects that I believe that other independent filmmakers can learn from. In particular, I think that the location that was found for Friends Forever was the perfect location. To be honest, I don't think they could have found a creepier house if they tried. And it makes me curious to know whether the script was written before finding the location, or if they already had access to this location and centered the script around that. So Thomas Angeletti or anyone else that was part of this production, if you're watching this video, I'd be curious to know, did you write the script based off the location, or did you find the location afterwards? Because I think the location was phenomenal. I also really love that the movie was able to differentiate between past and present. I mean, we're looking at two different decades in the 1950s and the 1980s. And I would say that doing a period piece as an independent filmmaker is ambitious on its own, but then to set your short film in two different decades that are 30 years apart at one location, that's on another level. But I think it was very genius how at the beginning, when we're seeing things in the 1950s, it was in black and white. I think the black and white does a couple of different things. Well, for one, it mentally and psychologically conveys that it's older just based off of how we perceive black and white video as an audience. But on the other hand, it really does a great job of masking how run down this house really is. Because once we switch into the 1980s and everything's in color, now you can see everything looks weathered, everything looks aged, it looks run down. It looks like 30 years have passed. And I think that differentiating between the black and white past and the present, although be it was in the 80s, so technically it's the past, but differentiating that between black and white and color does a great job of almost making it feel like we watched this house age over the years, even though obviously it's the same location. But the black and white really did do a good job of masking that weather that the colored video brought out later. Another filmmaking aspect that I really think that Friends Forever does a great job in is the cinematography, and Thomas Angeletti as director of photography really demonstrates a mastery of framing and composition over the course of this entire film. I think my favorite shots that are in the movie are those shots where it feels like the camera's kind of like connected to the actor in a sense, where wherever they're going, we're stuck with their discomfort. I remember seeing some shots like this in Breaking Bad and instantly fell in love with this shot type, and I love the way that it was used in Friends Forever. I thought that was genius by Thomas Angeletti. Alongside that shot, I think that Thomas Angeletti does just a fantastic job from beginning to end of utilizing various environmental elements through the framing and composition of his shots, whether we're seeing shots that are being framed by a doorway, where we're seeing things that are happening in the background while we're focused on someone else in the foreground. I think that's brilliant. I love framing shots within the windows, seeing a lot of the environmental elements, props being interacted with. I think putting the focus on everything across the mise-en-scène is just very, very sleek, and I really love the way that it gives a unique perspective for the audience watching Friends Forever, with not only visually stunning shots, but also shots that really convey that, you know, the people in the movie are characters, sure, but the location is just as central and crucial of a character for the story of this film. Overall, I think that Friends Forever is not just a great short horror movie, but I also think that it's a great piece to study as an independent filmmaker for its unique cinematography and excellent use of, you know, utilizing the location and utilizing shots that really, you know, sell that location throughout the whole film and make that location feel like a central character. You can watch Friends Forever right now on Reveal, and as always, I'm gonna link down in the description where you can go and check that out. Like I said, I really recommend this to not only fans of the horror genre, but also for independent filmmakers. There really is a lot that you can learn and study from watching this movie, and aspects that you can carry into your own projects. But anyway, guys, that's all that I have for you here today. Remember, if you like this content and you want to see even more videos on indie filmmaking, remember to drop a like, subscribe, and turn that bell on for notifications so you never miss a new video on the Frons Productions YouTube channel. And if you yourself are an independent filmmaker, go ahead and let me know down in the comments if there's a movie that you want me to watch of yours. Let me know what's the name of it, where can I watch it. I'll add that to my watch list to talk about in a future episode of Indie Spotlight. And if you're interested in the movie that I'm currently working on, In the Hands of Fate, I have some exciting news to share beginning next week. I'm going to start sharing some exclusive behind the scenes content on the making of the movie. Obviously nothing that gives away any spoilers, but my goal behind doing this isn't just about promoting my movie, but it's also to provide an educational resource to you, the audience, as independent filmmakers. I want to make Frons Productions an educational hub for people that are trying to break into independent film, but maybe don't have some of the resources that other people might. And so the whole point of this series, it's going to be how to make your first feature film with very few resources. And I want to share my journey as I'm making my first feature film, to share some of what I've been learning across this process with all of you, as a great educational resource and motivational resource for you all to go out and make your movies too. But if anybody is interested in helping out on the production for In the Hands of Fate, we are still running our Indiegogo campaign. This is our last week of fundraising for production, so make sure you get on there. We have some amazing perks. We've got DVDs, we've got VHS tapes, we've got posters, t-shirts, a board game, we have cards, you name it. Okay, so I'm going to link down in the description if you want to help us out. Whatever you can do to contribute would be amazing. The Indiegogo campaign, link down in the description. So anyway, guys, until next time, you know the drill. That's a wrap.